I didn't decide to stay small on purpose. My inner self concluded it, and the conclusion of being small is safer because así no llegan los envidiosos has chased me in my career since those moments. What I've realized, and again, pulling from the foundation of psychological reversals and secondary gain and all of the people that have studied this, is that for us, first gens, we have 6 doors that we sometimes don't open. But for a while, I called it, I'm a recovering procrastinator. But maybe now I can say I am allowing my protector to exist, but I can challenge it. Because when I find myself self-sabotaging, as we call it, then I can ask myself, what door am I stuck in right now? Sabrosura, I remember walking through the hallways of the factory and picking up the pieces and smelling them. They smelled like wet tierra. The smell is called petrichor, and I've loved it since I was little. And so anytime I smell petrichor, I think about my mom's business. I think about all the things that she created. And I also remember when people started noticing when she was becoming more successful. At the time, it wasn't virality, it wasn't that she went viral. At the time, it was just noticing that business was doing well, that clients were coming through the door. She had a retail store and a factory. She was busy making things happen. And then the envidiosos arrived. And that's when my little inner niña started noticing the vistas, the comments. And I didn't decide to stay small on purpose. My inner self concluded it, and the conclusion of being small is safer because así no llegan los envidiosos has chased me in my career since those moments. And the truth is that I'm still working on it. Welcome back to Café con Pan, the bilingual podcast that celebrates the power of our stories, the medicine in our voices, and the magic of reclaiming who we are. Pull up your cafecito, que este episodio es para ti. And today, we talk about the reasons why you may call it self-sabotage, but it's actually protection. I've called it even procrastination. You know me many times from being a recovering procrastinator. I've called it self-sabotage. A lot of us call it self-sabotage. Fear of success, self-doubt, imposter phenomenon. Pero what I've learned and what I've concluded is that nothing inside of you is designed to hurt you. It's a guard, a bodyguard. It's a protector. And so we are designed to stay safe. Our bodies are biologically designed to keep us alive. And so what happens is that when our brains detect that something may not feel safe, then that's when your protector comes in and says, I'm going to close the door because it looks like it's dangerous outside. That's when protection becomes safety for us. Protection first, benefits come after the protection. I want to talk about the lineage for this because I don't just come up with these concepts out of my brain only. Originally, thought field therapy from Roger Callahan and Gary Craig, who is the man who came up with EFT, actually. So it's first TFT and then EFT. Gary Craig came up with EFT. He passed away this year, actually. May he rest in power. He left us this beautiful gift of tapping. And in their world, it's called psychological reversal. meaning you're flipped into what you believe is true. You want something, and something in you does the opposite. So that's what we call it self-sabotage. Because many times, the harder you push, the more resistance you get against it. Something interesting is that Gary Craig, recently, before he left this earth, he actually called the term back. He let the term go. He said psychological reversals were misnamed. I'm not quoting directly, but what he said is that psychological reversals were actually secondary gain wearing a costume. Y con todo respeto, I think it's half the story. Because secondary gain is way older than EFT. Secondary gain comes from Freud in 1917. Sigmund Freud in 1917 in his introductory lectures talked about the benefit that makes a thing hard to give up. And so then Gary Craig said, we have psychological reversals, secondary gain. He collapsed them together. And what he shared is that they're one and the same. What I believe is that psychological reversal and secondary gain are partners. They work in parallel instead of them being synonyms. And so I'm showing up today with the foundation of the people that have studied this and my lived experience as a coach for first-gen Latinas. So I'm going to call it something else, but know that it's foundationally studied by other people. All right. So let's start with understanding the difference between secondary gain and what I call protective reversals. So I'm not calling them psychological reversals because I think they're protective. So secondary gain says, what do I get by staying the same? What is the benefit from me not changing? A protective reversal asks, what is my system protecting me from? So an example for secondary gain would be, I avoid criticism. I don't like to embarrass myself. So I'm going to avoid putting myself at risk to not get that criticism that I don't like. So I lock the door to any possibilities. So the gain is not from not doing, is from the result of not doing. A protective reversal says, I don't believe visibility is safe, for example. So I close the door. Usually, if you hear secondary gain, what people hear is, so I secretly want whatever it is that you're not wanting. And I think that's accusatory in many ways because, we have a lot of beliefs that happen because of our lived experience. That's why I call it a protective reversal, because your protective reversal say, of course, yes, your system did this because it learned that when you do this, you are protected. Your system prevents you from taking action because it's seen. There's evidence in the past that says when you cross that threshold of capacity, then it's no longer safe. So I'm going to keep you at the edge. No? So protection comes first, and then we go into the benefits. So this is where I invite you. And actually, I thought about this episode I've been meaning to share about this for a long time, but it's a little heady. And so you may need to listen to this episode a couple of times. You may need to write things down because I might actually do some drawings to give you the explanation of it, because it's a little deep, but I think it's worth sharing. I think this is the time to share this. What I've realized, and again, pulling from the foundation of psychological reversals and secondary gain and all of the people that have studied this, is that for us, first gens, we have 6 doors that we sometimes don't open. Okay? I'm going to go through the 6 doors fairly quickly. let me know if you want me to do an episode per each, because I would be delighted. I can talk about this all day. So, door number 1, the first door that we usually imagine us walking into a hallway of opportunity. Okay? So, the hallway of opportunity is what you want in life, whether it's the promotion or the revenue in your business or leaving the toxic relationship. We're getting deep in there. Or graduating from college. I don't know. The doors many times come in order. Door number 1, the door of possibility. The door of possibility is when your whisper, your subconscious says, can this even exist for me? Okay. The protection from it says, if I expect less, then I won't get hurt. And so when you have the protective reversal of possibility, then your body says, expect less, because then you won't be disappointed. You won't be hurt. Door number 2, the door of deserving. The door of deserving asks, am I allowed to have this? Have I earned my spot? Am I enough? And what she's truly saying is somebody else deserves it more. And it's tricky, no? Porque many times the door of deserving is a big one. And this is, it's connected to the 5 wounds of Calladita culture, but it's different because it's foundational. And so the door of deserving, think about, as we're going through the doors, think about something you really want. And all of this is evidence-based. And so as I'm walking you through the doors, ask yourself the questions that I'm sharing and see how your body responds. Door number 3, the door of identity. That one's deep. And that one's like in the middle, because there's 6 doors. So door of identity is the one where people, many times, that's like a big one to push open. Because the door of identity asks, can I become someone who has it? Can I be that person that I know I can be? But then, if I've always been something else, is this becoming a thing for me? So identity is a big one. So ask yourself, whatever it is that you want, can I become that? Who has it? Who's done it? Who's accomplished it? Who is recognized for it? And then listen to the whisper, because the whisper may say, but you've always been this other thing. Tune into that. How true does that feel? We do, when we're testing reversals, we do it with the body. And we don't have time to go through all of that. Because it's also, I need to be a responsible practitioner and make sure that I give you the foundation. But when it comes to actually testing some things, I don't want to leave you hanging because I want to support you. And so tune into your body. Ask yourself these questions. Door number 4, the door of safety. The door of safety, identity and safety are big ones. So the door of safety asks, is it safe for me to have it? How dangerous is it? The story that I shared at the beginning of the episode, I was between safety and door number 5. So I'll tell you more about it. Because if your body doesn't feel safe to achieve the thing, then you're going to stay. The door's not going to open and you're not going to be able to go through the next door because it's not safe. And the role of your body, the role of your subconscious, of your brain, of your amygdala, is to keep you alive. And so if the body receives a signal that says, you know what, once you open that door, it's not going to be safe, then the protector is going to come and close it and lock it until you work on it. No? Door number 5 is the door of loyalty. That one is, probably where the majority of my clients are is the door of loyalty. So when they come to me, they arrive like, you know what? I see the possibility for me. I know I deserve it. I've worked through my self-worth for a long time, so I know I deserve it. Identity, I've already worked so much through figuring out who I am, figuring out who I'm becoming, and then embodying that whom I want to be. So identity, I've crossed that door. Safety, sometimes it doesn't feel quite safe because we don't have evidence of what it safe looks like. But loyalty asks, who am I betraying if I become that? If I accomplish that? If I get there? Loyalty, especially for first gens, is huge because we don't want to be sellouts. Listen, I have my loyalty is what I'm working on. So the story that I shared earlier, when I saw my business, my mom's business collapse, I thought I didn't want my mom's business to collapse, or I thought I didn't want my business to collapse like my mom's business did. But in reality, what was underneath that was safety and loyalty. I knew it was possible for me to be a business owner. I knew I deserved it. I knew who I could be as a business owner. It didn't quite feel safe because envidiosos, and I was being loyal to my mom. So what happens in my case, the question that my subconscious was asking as a whisper is, if I rise, I'm going to leave mom behind. And so it's very subconscious. It felt like a betrayal. If I succeed, then I'm betraying the people that I love and care about. So I'm going to stay loyal. I'm going to reduce myself, stay small, because I would rather be loyal to the lineage and not cross the threshold, because then that would mean I'm leaving them behind. And this is so common. I see it all the time. And so tune in. How's this feeling right now when I'm saying this, when I'm sharing this? Maybe you're getting some like, OMG, have I been loyal to my lineage in the pursuit of accomplishing whatever it is that you want? If so, then what would it look like if you were to flip that question? So instead of saying, letting loyalty say, the door of loyalty ask you, who are you betraying? What if you allowed the door to say, who are you bringing with? Are you willing to leave the door open for the people that came before you and the people that come after you? And so it's, from a very surface level, it's a reframe that you can give yourself. And of course, there has to be some subconscious reprogramming that you can do. But we're still not done with the doors. So the fifth door is loyalty. Door number 6 is will. Do I want to? And this is where the rebels many times show up. I mean, all the doors are protected, right? So when it comes to will, it's sometimes it could feel in the beginning, it could be like, I don't want to do it. Will I actually move? Will I actually make it happen? And because the underneath the whispers that are coming to you may say, well, I mean, sometimes I don't want to do things. And what happens is I don't want to do all the things. So when I work through, okay, where is the resistance? Do I want to do it? Yes, I want to do it. And what is it that I don't want to do that's preventing me from taking the first step? Sometimes because my ADHD, it's the first step, literally. Open the browser, click new email, type dear whoever. And so the protection piece of this door, of the will door, is if you don't get started, if you don't do, then there's nothing to fail. So it's easier to stay in the regret than it is to face the possibility of falling. This is what brings me to one of my favorite quotes by Jim Rohn, who says, "We must all suffer from one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is that discipline weighs ounces and regret weighs tons." Oh, it's so annoying. I know. But when it comes to the will door, yeah, we have the subconscious story telling us you don't have to face the failure. And so ask yourself, what is a tiny step I can do there to move the things forward? Hay conversaciones que nos enseñaron a callar, y dinero was one of them. Pero here's the truth. Tu dignidad financiera no debería depender de que traduzcas todo para tu mamá, tus tías, tu abuelita o quien sea. Savvy Ladies just made it easier than ever to get financial help en español. Their free helpline means your mama can ask a question without you having to translate shame, confusion, or whatever her comadre told her. Talleres, clases, consejos, todo completamente gratis y con el respeto que nuestras familias merecen. Porque libertad financiera no es lujo, es necesidad. So whether it's you or your mama who's ready to take that first step, go to savvyladies.org. That is SAVVYLADIES.org. Empieza hoy. La dignidad financiera no se pide, se reclama. Here's the thing. Latina families have been saving money forever. From reusing plastic containers for comida, folding up plastic bags under the sink, and diluting dish soap with water. The last thing we need is to pay fees to access our money, right? Pues, in case you didn't know, BMO customers have access to 40,000 fee-free ATMs across the United States. Plus, their BMO Smart Advantage checking account has no monthly maintenance fee. Learn more about how BMO can help by visiting bmo.com/checking. bmo.com/checking. Conditions apply. Accounts provided in the United States by BMO Bank, NA member FDIC. When was the last time someone said pajamas required and actually meant it? 10 years ago, I started Café con Pam using a microphone from a retired rapper, way too many feelings, and zero proof any of this could work. Well, here we are. It did work. So on October 10th in San Diego, we are throwing it a slumber party, a real one. And here's the part that I'm so excited about. I'm teaching the workshop I needed 10 years ago. The one that teaches your nervous system it's safe to build, to grow, to take up space without bracing for it all to be taken away. Then we record a live episode with an incredible guest. Your questions in the room out loud. In your pajamas, fed by an actual chef. Warm citrus marinated olives, gluten-free corn dogs, the whole artisanal spread. Oh, so excited. It's called Diezvelada, 10 years, one night. Grab your tickets, get on the list before it's gone. Come as tired as you want because we're staying up anyway. I'm just kidding. It's just from 6 to 10 because I'm a señora. You know, we go to bed at 10. Head over to cafeconpam.com/10. cafeconpam.com/DIEZ. Diez. So those are the 6 doors. Possibility, deserving, identity, safety, loyalty, and will. And the order is not decorative because your willpower has to come after you believe it's possible. You cannot willpower your way through possibility. You cannot affirm your way through loyalty. And most of us are working on the 6th door when we haven't even worked on the 1st door. So, like I shared, in my case, for a while, I was trying to open the loyalty door. Loyalty is my door that I'm working through. And the thing is that I've worked through the loyalty door with other things. And so it isn't one of those like, oh, you open the loyalty door and then you're done. You don't have to deal with it. No. Next time you want to accomplish something else, you may go through the doors a little easier. And you might figure that perhaps you thought that, I don't know, door 3 or maybe deserving was fine. But then you get to a different thing that you want to accomplish. And you're like, oh, in this one, I need to work through my deserving door. a little bit, a little bit more. So it's not a one pass through and that's it. The door framework, the 6 doors, is for you to go through the 6 doors with everything you want to accomplish. You want to walk yourself through the 6 doors as you accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish. And so here's the truth, the other thing. This door framework doesn't cover the 7th thing. And the 7th thing is not a door. And this is the question that you want to ask. So it's a 7th thing, but it's actually a 0. It's a 0 thing. Because what you're asking yourself constantly, and what I answer often with my clients, is I don't have a solid foundational start. How do I go through the doors when my starting point was a little shaky? You've been building as you go. I've shared this in different metaphors, and that's my challenge, that I just create so many types of metaphors, but one is the recipe one. In this case, we're going to talk about a bridge. We're not handed a built-in recipe. We are building the recipe. We don't stand looking at the doors on solid ground. We are handed a bridge that's semi-built. So I'll talk about the 7th or the 0 ground on another conversation. Let me know if you want to hear it, because I think it's important. But let's get back to the doors. Let me give you another example. I had a client that wanted one thing. She wanted to be heard at work. And she had gone through being quiet all the way to, I can express myself now real good. And the thing is, and that's what I often see when it comes to calladita culture, is you are silenced whether you're loud or quiet. So the wound of silence is overcompensated or undercompensated. And so in her case, she had played with both sides. She had arrived in her voice and her truth after she was the quietest one. And then she was like, you know what? I have things to say. And she was showing up with her voice, but she was still being dismissed. And so she tried executive presence coaching. She tried to do better slide presentations. She tried being louder. She tried to speak up more. She arrived to the meetings early. And my question to you is, how many communication courses have you taken, or YouTube videos have you seen to fix something that was never about communication? Yeah, I know. Because what it was, and the reason why she wasn't being heard, is because while she was being louder, and sometimes she would modulate her volume, it wasn't about the tone of her voice. It wasn't about how loud or quiet she was. It wasn't even about how eloquent she was speaking or how corporate English she was using. It was all about her not feeling safe in her body to show up so that people could perceive that she was confident. What would happen, and what we found as we were working through this, is that the second she would arrive, she was like super cool. Like, yeah, I got this. We practiced. It's done. But the moment she would arrive there, her body was like, oop, it's not safe anymore. And so then she would switch into people pleasing mode. And so the truth is that this person wasn't bad at being heard. She was actually working at the wrong door. She was trying to open the wrong door. Every tool she brought was a key for the lock of the door that wasn't holding her back. And ever since we worked on her certainty to show up, her safety, then she's now voted the best manager at her company, and her team love her because she didn't have to increase her volume or lower it or be more eloquent or do whatever. She simply had to get certain and remind her body, this is where we are safe and we know what we're doing. and we deserve it. And it's possible for us to be the best manager we can be. She was stuck up for a door number 4. She was trying to work through the identity door, but she already knew who she was. And this is why I often say Latinas don't need more confidence stuff. We just need to work through the doors that we are stuck in. We need to have clarity at what is holding us. Y ya. I have another example of the door number 1. So she landed a big tech job. And this is a big tech job in a place where, the company has a campus. And every day she would walk through that campus doubting. She would often think about her parents working the fields. She would often say hello to the janitor and knew their names. And she felt so comfortable, which is amazing. I'm all about that. Talking to that team. But she felt less comfortable talking to her peers, talking to her peers. And every day after she got the job, for a minute until we got to open the door, she would walk. Like I remember when she would be like, I walk every day like in fight or flight, waiting for someone to tap me on the shoulder and be like, we made a mistake. Like, you actually don't belong here. And for a while, she said, I'm so lucky. Or this is a fluke. Like, I don't understand. And so in this case, she wasn't being humble. She was simply locked at door 1 because in many ways she knew she deserved it. But what door 1 said to her is that this is not available to someone like you. And that's why she was stuck in the first door for a long time until we reversed her belief of this is not available for me. It's possible for me. I've earned it. And so then once you reverse it, then it's so much easier to go through the rest of the doors. So in my case, I'm working through door 5 because I know that my mom was stuck at door 5. Now, her loyalty was to her father. My loyalty is to my mother. So you see how loyalty is not necessarily something you believe in. Loyalty is a strategy of attachment. And for first gens, this is the question that circles us all the time. Am I willing to sell out? Because who am I going to lose when I have it? And because we don't want to lose the people that we love, we stay loyal. And this is why out-earning your parents is hard. This is why we code switch in the home and we speak a different kind of English at work. This is why it's hard to set boundaries. Why many times we move away. And you can listen back to many episodes of people that have moved away to disconnect, to in many ways cut the loyalty cord. But the loyalty cord is there. Loyalty feels hard because when you are the one that's healing and you realize that the people before you didn't have the tools, the resources, the will, the skill to do the work that you're doing, that's when you're like, dang, it sucks. Because they're loyalty conflicts. And so I want to invite you to live in the both and. I can honor everything my family built, and I can still unlock that door because those two things don't compete with each other. Those two things can be parallel to each other because when you choose to open that door, you can say, you know what, you can come right with me. And so your self-sabotage, I hope you understand that it's not necessarily self-sabotage. It's protection. You started today. We started with saying, oh, maybe you self-sabotage. Maybe you clicked on it to uncover the self-sabotaging foundation principle. But now you know that there are 6 doors you have to go through for your body to allow you to get to that place where you want to get to. face your protector, face the guard at the door. That is the role of your brain to protect you from whatever danger is out there. Protection first. Acknowledge it. You know what? What are you protecting me from today? And so this is where I've learned to reframe it and listen. You've been with me for 10 years, which is kind of wild to think about. But for a while, I called it, I'm a recovering procrastinator. But maybe now I can say I am allowing my protector to exist, but I can challenge it. Because when I find myself self-sabotaging, as we call it, then I can ask myself, what door am I stuck in right now? Ask yourself, what evidence is my body bringing to this moment that it's preventing me from getting through the door? So, is this possible for me? Yes, no? If the answer is no, then you're stuck in door one. Do I deserve it? Am I allowed to have this? Is this something for me? If your body answers no, then maybe you're stuck in door number two. An easy way to get to it is by tapping on the side of the hand. This is your small intestine point. Small intestine is connected to discernment. So this is why we use the side of the hand. Is this possible for me? Door number one. Am I allowed to have it? Do I deserve it? Who am I? Do I know who I am when this happens? Can I become that? Door number three, safety. Is it dangerous? How safe is it? Is it safe for me to achieve this? Is it safe for me to have it? Loyalty. Am I betraying someone by achieving it? And do I want to do it? Am I willing to make it happen? Possibility, deserving, identity, safety, loyalty, and will. If you're wondering what door you're stuck in, well, I just gave you the framework to go through. You can tap on the side of the hand, you can put your hand over your heart, you can ask yourself the questions, and we'll have the questions in the show notes. Y también, obviously, you can go and start with the conditioning that installed the guard in the first place, which is the Calladita Culture quiz. So you get the 5 wounds, or there are 5 wounds underneath the programming, and you'll find out the language for that which you've been carrying without a name. So there are 5 wounds that are the foundation of this, and then you go through the doors once you're getting to a place of achievement. I want to get something. I want to stop self-sabotaging. All right, well, let's go through the doors. Takes 5 minutes, cafeconpam.com/quiz. Gracias por estar aquí. Comment. Tell me comments. Tell me if, sometimes it's hard to just sit here and record for you because I do much better with feedback. And so if you have questions, please leave them. Please comment. Drop a comment, tag me, send me a DM. What came up for you? What additional follow-up you want me to do? Yes, I'm going to talk about the bridge and in another episode, but this is just something quick. When I work with clients one-on-one, we go through the reversals together, and we're able to, through somatic work, because the body knows your answers better than your brain does many times, we're able to uncover the true story. Where did this start? So for me, arriving at the loyalty door, I uncovered it because I went into my subconscious brain and said, okay, if I am, quote, self-sabotaging in this way, then what led me to believe this was true? And that's when I realized I was being loyal. My goal today is to give you a little bit. I'm aware that I cannot give you everything in a short episode. But my goal is for you to get started with that journey and take the quiz, reach out. I'm more than happy to help you with whatever it is that may have come up for you. Y bueno, thank you so much for being here. Como siempre, sigue brillando. Café con Pam is created con mucho amor by our small but mighty team. Content production by Nancy Jaimes. Podcast management by Maru Linardi. Social media and marketing by Brenda Figueroa. And me, your host, Pam Covarrubias. To keep the cafecito brewing and the healing flowing, join the Supporters Club for only $5 a month and access early episodes, behind-the-scenes vibes, and exclusive minisodes you won't hear anywhere else. Screenshot this episode and tag me and share what resonated. I love seeing your takeaways. Follow on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's keep the conversation going with us on social media at Café con Pan Podcast, because your voice always matters there. We love being on Instagram and Facebook. Gracias for listening to Café con Pan, a Spread Ideas Move People production. For more episodes, guest info, or resources, visit cafeconpam.com. And if you're healing from calladita culture and don't know where to start, you can take the quiz. cafeconpam.com/quiz for Tia Wisdom and cariño just for you.
Sabrosura pa' ti que